What's up, guys? I'm gonna be making some eggs. Maybe sharing my thoughts while I do it. I've got the pan there on the stove, and I feel like I've been in a big rush lately, so I really want to wind it down with these. I really take my time with what I'm doing. So normally, I just pick the stick up and I crank the burner on high, and I just sit there and I put it there, and I just rub the stick in it. But now I got it on low. I'm gonna let that metal patiently warm up, because these qualities that we seek in ourselves are equally important to the non-human world around us. Generally, if you have a pan and you get it super hot super fast, and you get it super hot super fast, and then when you're done with it, you just want to clean it up, and before it cools down properly, you just go and you run water under it, and it sizzles and it cools it down super fast. It's just it's just not great for the pan, and I think we all know that, because I think that humans are like that too, but we're in such a rush these days to get on to the next thing. So I want to be more patient. I want to work on my communication skills, because I feel like I'm pretty bad at orating my thoughts. I put a little bit of water in here. Sometimes I do milk, but milk's got sugar in it, and sugar kind of sticks to the bottom. I find that water adds a surprising amount of fluff to the eggs. And I've got some butter in the pan right now. I've also got here some ciabatta bread, and I've got just a little bit of cheese here left. It's a Westminster smoked cheddar from Kroger, and I think it's just enough to make like a small grilled cheese. So I'm gonna eat some food, because me and my friend Thorne are going out tonight, and I'm super excited. He's one of my best. He's got to be my best friend. He's one of those people that is such a joy to be around, and it seems that everyone who shares their opinion on him has the same opinion. And what I really love about being with Thorne is that, I feel like I'm able to articulate my thoughts much more clearly. Sometimes, if I go really deep into the annals of it, I'll stump myself up and I'll be like, dude, I don't have the words for this. But overall, he's someone that, being with him just it puts me in a mindset that I really enjoy being in. So we're gonna go over here. I don't think that there's really any good angle to put this thing at. Oh, right there. It don't fucking matter. Shit, unless you causing a ruckus. Man, fuck it. We going vertical. Oh, fuck, dude. That'll do. I wish I had a GoPro. So our butter just kind of started to brown. To to me, that's kind of like the prime. You don't want it to get to burn too much, but you know, if your butter's brown, you know that it's nice and warm. Once I put it in there, I like to turn, if I want good eggs, I'll turn it down to low. And this way, it kind of gets that butter's at a static temperature just because of thermodynamics, you know. That butter is going to remain at that temperature until it vaporizes or burns. So when you pour the eggs in there, it just gets a good start. It gets a good starting point for the eggs, and then you turn it down and I'll rake it in. Rake it in there towards the middle. I know you're not supposed to put a fork in here in a non-stick pan, but you also probably shouldn't be using a non-stick pan. I should be using that cast iron. My grandma was like, I think I'm gonna throw this pan out because its non-stick properties aren't working. And I kind of just sat there like, oh no, grandmama, don't throw it away. I don't know why that's happened. Meanwhile, my ass is putting fucking forks, stainless steel forks in there. But somehow I didn't find myself to be guilty, as is the human way. I read in a Nietzsche book that when a man has been punished, he very rarely says, shoot, that might be still. This isn't the most ideal. It looks kind of, looks like it's cooking a bit faster than I would like it to. So I think I'm gonna turn the heat off for a moment and just let it sit on that super low while this pan's still hot. And you know, it might get to that point that I want it to be at. It's crazy how much more yellow these eggs are on the screen than they are in real life. They're very white in real life, very creamy. Got some salt here. Just, you know, a thick fingerful. I use salted butter, so that looks pretty darn good right there. So I'm gonna grab me a plate to serve this on. I don't know which way I had this, like that. And I'm just gonna rake it onto there, but I plan to keep on using this pan, so I'm gonna get me a nice harmless paper towel and use that to get the rest of this. Throw out as much of this. I don't really care too much about there being residual egg in here. You know, it isn't a lot. But let's prep this bread. I'm gonna put it in the toaster for a moment. I think a pre-toasted grilled cheese is really good. These eggs look pretty good too. I was thinking about putting some mushrooms in it, but I decided against it. Of got a really bad headache right now. I did a fast yesterday. I did a fast today. More like a half-ass fast. But I decided that I was just gonna start eating at about 5 o'clock. I ate some potatoes and some soup. And that took like a 2-hour nap, man. But I also, I feel like I drank too much coffee. And to me, there's always been kind of two different kinds of too much caffeine. I feel like having a small amount be a part of your system throughout the whole day is worse for you than it is to like chug like a fucking rain, and then go to the gym. Because I was doing that for a very long time and I never really had any issues, but I recently started drinking coffee throughout the day and I feel like it's kind of causing me some issues. So I don't need to run the full toast cycle because I just need a little bit of crisp on it. I kind of just wanted it to be hot while I put this butter on it. And I shouldn't be complaining because my grandmother does let me live with her for free and she supplies me with a lot of stuff. But I wish that she would keep the butter in a dish outside of the fridge. When you want to use butter, like, you should just be able to freaking slash into it and spread. And this butter's been sitting out since I started the video for 10 minutes. And I still can't spread it. But if it was at room temp, then I'd just be able to, fucking smear that shit across. But it don't really matter. Getting these fucking LinkedIn notifications, dude. I don't want a job. I don't know what I want. I want to have a career that I love. But I don't think that anything that I love earns money. So I might be beer battered and fried on that topic. I mean, my dream profession would be like a professional artist, or maybe a musician in a band, or a writer, or an academic, or like a teacher. Or even a simple baker, But a lot of the jobs that I want are kind of just romantic fantasies. And that's been a mode of thought that I've found myself stuck in for a very long time. These eggs are really good. And I didn't really become aware of that mode of thought that I was in until recently. I'm gonna get a little handful of water here. I'm gonna bubble that up. And we're gonna put the lid on there to create a little steam chamber. That way that cheese in there, I didn't properly seal it, so it's dried out quite a bit. And it just helps to get in there and melt the cheese. And that's another reason that I like to toast the bread, because obviously the moisture is going to soften that bread a little more than I would like. So there's a lot going on. We've toasted the bread. we're steaming the pan to soften the cheese, and we're also buttering the pan in order to crispen the outside and brown it. Grilled cheese it's such a it is an incredibly cool meal. If you want to get into the different kinds of bread, the different cheeses, and the different kinds of preparation, and you get such vastly different flavors out of doing that. I think though that my favorite is just like sourdough with cheddar. This smoked cheddar is pretty freaking gas. Let me do that. It's making some noise here, so I'm gonna check on it. Though I do have the heat up on like medium high. This feels like a lot of butter to me between the eggs and what I already put on there. But I also really want to stop giving a fuck about nutrition on such a stupid scale. Because I want to care less about the way that I look. And I want to love myself. Because I've been noticing that there's a lot of hatred in my heart, and it's not for other people, but it's coming out into the people that I love. And I don't know what the cause is. I've kind of been distracting myself for the past couple of months with all these different hobbies of drawing and playing piano and reading. Not that I don't really enjoy them. I do really enjoy them. But something has kind of changed in me. Which is good, right? Change is good. So they say. But can I say that I loved the iteration of myself that I was before? I certainly can't. Changing from one distasteful form into another. But I'm missing the previous iteration of myself. It's very odd. It's remarkably odd, actually. When I'm happy, I'm not really aware of my happiness, but when I'm sad, I'm much more aware of it. Probably ought to work on that. But this cheese is looking pretty freaking smack, though. I'm so excited to go out with Thorn tonight, dude. I might sing some karaoke. Now, this isn't very brown, so I'm gonna crank up that heat. I want to take some psychedelic mushrooms tonight, but only a small amount, a microdose, as they say, because I found that, and I need to say this out loud because it's not a good thing at all, but I really like how I feel when I microdose. because it makes me speak my thoughts without ever second guessing them. I've outdone myself. I should practice more patience. But you know, it's the moral battle of, what is it a moral battle of? See, this is the kind of stuff that I don't have the words for. I want to microdose tonight, but it's kind of, it sounds like alcoholism. Like, I love how I feel. I'm just more myself when I'm drunk. You know, it sounds like that. Because it reduces that anxiety. And maybe it's not anxiety, or maybe I've become so accustomed to dealing with it that it has become myself. I got no idea, dude. I got no idea. I think I'm gonna do it. So there's just kind of this idea of hedonism. That I've been trying to find a good balance of. Because I can't seem to decide between asceticism or hedonism. You know? Like pleasure seeking and enjoying myself, or, you know, that kind of transcendence that you get from denying yourself things. Fasting is a great example. It's almost like I've got this, you know, there's this back and forth where, you know, you do a bad and then you do a good to balance it out so that you can do a bad, so that you can do, and they both feel good. But, you know, if I fast too much, then I'm not going to feel good, and if I do too much bad, I'm not going to feel good. So I guess I'm just on this seesaw, and perhaps it's completely natural. So maybe I shouldn't even be thinking about it, but I've gone to church a couple times since having moved back home. And one of the first sermons that the preacher gave, he was talking about how in Christianity, I suppose, that goods do not justify bads, nor in the sense of, if you've done wrong, you can't do good in order to justify it. But we were also kind of talking about giving to the homeless, or giving to people, and how if you do give, you should do it because you want to. But in instructing the people to do that, it completely washes that away, because now everyone in the church is thinking, oh, I'm supposed to do this. You know, they're not doing it because they want to. They're doing it because they're supposed to, or because they want to make themselves feel good. You know, so is it a good... I don't know, man. I don't know. What I do know is that this grilled cheese... Oh my gosh, dude. I was about to run the water over this pan because it's very hot. But I'm not going to. Oh man, that would have been so funny if I started the video with, I'm practicing patience, running the hot pan under the water, and then I immediately forget about it and then go in. These virtues are it's so easy to be virtuous on a whim, dude. Like being like, oh, I will be patient right now, you know, because you get a kick out of it. You know, you get a kick out of it. You get a kick out of it. But being a proper saint and being chronically virtuous, this shit's hard, dude. You want to talk about patience? Talk about patience with life. And, you know, waiting 5-10 years for that opportunity. And then imagine missing it. I can't say that gratefully, I can't say that I feel like I've missed any like life-seizing opportunities. I think the only thing I could really think of is just like not talking to that girl, talking myself out of approaching that girl, you know. I think that's as great as my regrets are, you know. I wish that I didn't do engineering. No, I don't wish that. I think that I'm glad that I did it, but I also find it to have been a pointless degree. Could have been any challenging degree. Or was it even challenging? No, because I didn't learn anything. I memorized things. Real learning is so hard. All I am is just a fucking character that like regurgitates what other people say in order to seem smart. And you know, the old people are the easiest people to fool because they don't know about the internet and TikTok and what's on there, you know, their feed. They don't realize that their feed is tailored to them. But when Instagram figures out that I'm an existential, introspective young man, and he starts feeding me fucking Harry Miller, Great Dane, you know, micro philosophies that just start filling my head with fucking noise. I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about. But I do know that this is fucking gas. I'm not as smart as I wish I was. I'm not actually smart. I can just regurgitate to the right people. I want to be really smart. I want to be genuinely smart. And all that comes with is actually dedicating yourself to stuff and putting real pain and monotony into things, you know. I'm sure that some of the best feelings come from the best coincidences come from the most uncomfortable purposes, whatever the hell that means. Dude. I don't need to be smart. I don't need to be smart. I don't need to be anything. And it's embarrassing that I'm sitting here wasting my time fucking trying to be something. Be something to other people. Dude, golly, man. Dude. If I made a second one right now, it would not taste nearly as good. Nor would the one that I made tomorrow or the day after. A grilled cheese is like, it's like a 2-week thing, maybe 1 week thing. The more days in a row that you can, no. The grilled cheese makes itself. The grilled cheese, it works the chef. And it tells the chef when it's ready to be made. The chef does not decide that he's going to make the grilled cheese. The grilled cheese tells you when it's ready to be made. And it's such a, like, that's just another reason on why it's such a good food. And you can't order a grilled cheese. Like, it'll be good. But it isn't ever gonna be like that. Because this took patience. It took a little bit of thought. It took my own discretion. It took that Freebird of using ciabatta, which I've never used before, that newness of discovery. And I've never used the okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to look stupid. That Westminster smoked cheese, cheddar. I've used a smoked cheddar before, but not particularly the Westminster. I don't know enough. I didn't pay enough attention during my taste to tell whether or not it was better or worse, but I know that it was freaking gas. So, I think that I am going to microdose some mushrooms tonight. Because I've got like this much, and I never fucking use them. Like, I probably take a quarter of a gram. I've probably taken half a gram a month. Like, overall, in the past 6 months. No, dude, no way. That's probably been 1/8 of a gram. I think I've probably taken 1.5 grams since I got them, which was like 8 months ago. $1.5 over 8. Right? Yeah. Alright. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's your boy, Raindrop the Pilgrim, aka Lugnut Ferguson, aka Thelonious, Archmage,